Welcome to First Time Watching. I am happy to see that Adam Scott escaped the set of Severance to play in the horror movie Hokum. Here, he plays a writer who visits an Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes, but quickly finds out that the property is haunted by a witch. We kick things off in the desert where a conquistador and a child follow a map as they finally reach a strange circle in the desert. The conquistador says they are close and tries to open the next bottle, but he can't seem to open it without something hard. But then the conquistador thinks of something and calls the child over to him. He puts the child in position and raises the bottle, but then a rolling log distracts Ohm and takes him out of his flow state. A woman is on his stairs. He points the light over to her and she's gone. She's behind him. He freaks out as she disappears. He opens an old box labeled Home. It contains postcards and pictures from back in Ireland and a strange box. He uses a saw to break the lock and opens the box that was with it. It contains an old revolver. He looks at the Bilberry Woods card on his table. Ohm jumps in his car with the box and drives to Ireland to the Bilberry Woods Hotel. He walks past a guy who just shot a mountain goat. The guy calls them pests. They are dangerous for traffic. A man inside is telling the children a scary story about a witch living in the woods. Ohm interrupts the story and tells the kids to go to their parents. They shouldn't talk to strangers. As the manager named Mal arrives at the front desk, the old man keeps butting into the conversation and then introduces himself as the owner of the hotel. As Ohm handles the paperwork, the hunter comes in and wheels Grandpa away. The manager tells Ohm there will be a Halloween party tomorrow, so Ohm makes it clear he has zero interest in that. He will be working on his book. On his way to his room, he gets lost. Lucky for him, an employee named Fiona finds him and guides him to the right place. He asks her the way to the big redwood, so after settling in, he makes his way there. It's this big tree in the middle of the forest. There, he opens the box and takes out his mom and dad's ashes and spreads them around the tree. His mom with love, and his dad with spite. On his way back, he stumbles upon another dead mountain goat. A homeless-looking man named Jerry sits nearby and offers him a drink. The man explains that they shoot the goats because they climb on the cars. The goats eat hallucinatory mushrooms, and because of those, they are obsessed with their own reflection. That night, he sits at the bar and tells Fiona the end of his book. He tells her the conquistador slams the bottle onto the kid's head, but the bottle doesn't break, so the conquistador wanders into the desert to die. She hates it. Then he tells her she reminds him of his mom and shows her the picture. He tells her his mom was murdered, shot in the face by a miner, and his dad became a monster that drank himself to an early grave. This place was the last place he knows that his parents were happy, and that brings him to the question, why is the honeymoon suite closed? She tells him it's haunted by a witch. The owner managed to lock her in that room. She always wanted to see if it was true. Ohm asks her, and what if it is? She shows him a book about Irish folklore and tells him she'll draw a circle of chalk around herself. Witches can't enter the circle. Albie joins them and tells them about the time he met the witch. He was guarding the elevator when it opened behind him, and a gust of wind blew his hat off. He checked in the shaft with a lighter. When he heard whispering, he saw a face. Fiona leaves Albie and Ohm alone. Albie is a writer too, and asks if Ohm could read his stuff, but Ohm is a dick about it and burns Albie's hand with a heated spoon and tells him he needs a thicker skin to be a writer. After he went to bed, Fiona finds that Ohm left his stuff at the bar, so she decides to take it up to his room. But when he doesn't open the door, she asks Albie to open the door for her. She has a bad feeling. She goes in, turns on the light, and they find him strung up from the ceiling. She finds the saw that he apparently still had on him and uses it to get him down. Ohm walks out of the elevator and everything's in black and white. There is a weird whimpering, crying voice coming closer, but nobody's there, so he closes the elevator. His mother is in there with him. Sometime later, he wakes in the hospital and goes back to the hotel to get his stuff. The season's over, so they are closing up. The manager hands him his belongings. Ohm asks who found him. The manager tells him it was Fiona, so Ohm asks where he can find her. He wants to apologize, but the manager tells him that she is missing. She's been missing since Halloween, and that was weeks ago. They searched for her everywhere, and the police suspect the hobo from the woods. They haven't seen him since that night either. Apparently, this hobo has been a suspect in his own wife's disappearance too. He asks the hunter if he noticed anything weird about Fiona that night. He tells Ohm that she looked off, which was understandable. Then he asks him if they searched the honeymoon suite, but the hunter tells him no, it's always locked. Now the hunter's final advice for Ohm is to get in his car and fuck off. So Ohm does, but he stops near the forest and goes to check out the hobo's abandoned van. In there he finds an Irish folklore book, the one Fiona had on the night at the bar. As he closes the van, there is Jerry the hobo. He asks him if he knows anything about Fiona. Jerry tells tells him no. He did kill his wife though, but she was ill, so he did her a favor. And about Fiona, him and her were friends, and he borrowed her book. He doesn't know where she went, but he does know she's dead now. He saw her 2 nights ago when he was out to steal medicine from the hotel. The room service bell rang in the middle of the night. It came from the honeymoon suite, and then there she was. His mushroom-induced hallucinations showed her to him. He thinks she was trying to get him to go up there. He is waiting till the hotel's empty, and then he is going to check it out. He already stole the key. But yeah, he can't really explain why she would be up there. He just knows she is. Jerry asks Ohm to come with him tonight after everybody leaves. They spend the day studying Fiona's book to learn as much about the folklore as possible, because our hobo friend is convinced all of it is real. After sundown, they return to the hotel and break in. Jerry goes to get the crossbow, but then someone grabs him from behind. It's the hunter. He chokes him until he's unconscious and then ties him up. He takes his crossbow and goes into the main hall, but Ohm hides just in time. The hunter puts Jerry in the back of his van and drives off to bring him to the police. After he is gone, the bell to the honeymoon suite rings. It's calling out to Ohm. He takes the elevator upstairs. A door opens as if to welcome him. Ohm makes his way into the suite and looks around for any signs of Fiona. After not finding anything, he decides to sit down and enjoy a drink, but then he falls asleep on the bed. He dreams of being young, playing with the gun in the box and it going off. He remembers shooting his own mom in the face. A weird woman leans over him and then Mal wakes him. The boss called him in a panic because he lost the honeymoon key. Tells him how he got it, so Mal suggests to just go down together. They don't want to give the boss a bigger heart attack than he already is having. Ohm goes into another room, which freaks out Mal. There's an empty shaft leading to a basement. Mal needs him to stop, but he doesn't listen and presses the button for the dumbwaiter to come up. Mal tells him they need to move now. They need to leave. But Ohm looks down and a body comes up the shaft. It's Fiona's. As soon as he sees it, Mal runs off. He goes down and locks the elevator so that Ohm is stuck in the suite. Ohm looks out the window and can see Mal speed off in his car. A couple of weeks earlier, on the night of the Halloween party, Fiona was moping next to Mal. He tells her to drink her tea while it's still hot, but after she does, she feels woozy. Mal was waiting to catch her, puts her in a wheelchair and carts her off to the elevator. He brought her up to the honeymoon suite and dropped her down the dumbwaiter shaft, where he let her go down into the creepy basement. Ohm checks the body. His voice recorder is lying next to her. She left a message for if anybody finds her. In it, she says she is pregnant. Mal is the father, and he wasn't happy with her for keeping it. She just doesn't believe he would go this far as to lock her down in the basement. Ohm finds a secret door under the desk. It's locked, but there are some screws, so he takes a knife from the room service car to open the door. Meanwhile, the hobo wakes up in the back of the hunter's van, grabs the knife he was hiding in his boot, and jumps out of his moving van. As Ohm finishes unscrewing, his mom is behind him checking his work. She walks off, so he tries the next screw, but this one is different, so the knife won't work. As he gets up, Fiona's body is gone. He walks around to check if anybody's there. There is a loud noise, so he walks towards it, and his mom follows. The lights turn off, so Ohm grabs his torch and looks around. There is a knock on the door, and the clock chimes. The TV turns on and then off. He sees Fiona's reflection in it, and then it turns on. A creepy bunny man called Jack reads a letter written by Ohm back when he was 10. He wrote a letter to the scary bunny that he accidentally killed his mom and that his dad hates him now. Ohm calms down and sits at the little table near the cook chair. He decides to check the map for clues, and then his voice recorder starts playing again. It's Fiona's voice saying she's stuck, she can't get back up. He takes the clock and figures out that the stick the little dude is holding is used to bring up the dumbwaiter. With it, Fiona's body returns to him. Ohm takes her body out of the elevator and climbs in himself, and then he presses the button to go down into the basement. After being locked into the honeymoon suite by the manager, Ohm finally grew a pair of balls and takes the dumbwaiter into the basement. Once down, he finds himself in the dark corridors beneath the hotel. As he proceeds, there are wind chime-like things. They look like protection beads to keep something locked in. But Ohm goes past them and finds a strange wall that looks out of place. The recorder plays again. Fiona says she thinks someone's down there with her. She calls out and a wailing scream answers. Ohm picks up his light and goes further. He finds strange strange drawings on the wall with a piece of chalk next to them. He grabs it and starts running when his alarm goes off. The clock is about to strike upstairs, so he has to be back in the dumbwaiter to be lifted up, but it doesn't strike. The lights go off and the wailing sounds become louder. There is a cackle. Something is coming for him. The witch. And then the kid hits the button and Ohm is pulled up. The kid hits it again, so he jumps out of the elevator, just in time. The woman looks up at him from the abyss. She starts crawling up and opens the door. Ohm jumps into the bathroom and locks the doors to the honeymoon suite itself, but the witch sneaks into the bathroom and watches him through the glass window. She opens the door and gets into the room. Ohm draws a circle around the bed with the chalk as quick as he can and jumps on. The witch lurks around the bed to see if the circle is complete, and it is. The next morning, Mal returns to the hotel to find the doors open and blood on a car. There is blood all over the front desk. Jerry is near the elevator. He asks Mal to help him. He needs to go upstairs. Ohm is up there. Mal tells him he isn't there. He tells the hobo that he took Ohm to the airport. He is fine. And Fiona wasn't there either. Ohm wakes up in the bed. He is still alive. He gets up and slowly puts a foot out of the circle. He looks around the room for any signs of the witch and notices the car outside. Jerry doesn't really believe Mal. He needs to see it for himself, but Mal tells him he'll have to call the guards. He will let him go and call afterward. Ohm remembers the bells downstairs and starts looking for a button that might alarm Jerry. He finds it and pulls the rope as if his life depends on it. There is a ringing downstairs, and as the hobo is stumbling out, Mal hopes he doesn't hear it. He can see Jerry get in his car, but Jerry gets back out of his car and stumbles back into the hotel. Mal doesn't know what to do now, but just as Jerry walks in, Ohm pulls the string out of the wall and the ringing stops. Jerry forgot his keys. As Mal grabs them, Ohm kicks a hole in the wall and pulls the string inside, but he was too late again, so Jerry drives off. Mal goes to his office to grab his family picture, but when he returns to the front, Jerry is back. He says that when something feels off, you should always check twice, and there is something off about Mal's story. The bell rings as he confronts him. Jerry grabs his axe and tells Mal to give him the key right now. He grabs it and stumbles towards the elevator. Mal begs him to leave it. He tells Jerry Fiona wasn't a good person, and Ohm was going to kill himself anyway, but Jerry ignores him and gets into the elevator up to the honeymoon suite. Mal hides an old heater that is a fire hazard under his desk and puts a blanket over it to make sure it catches fire, while Jerry frees Ohm from the honeymoon suite. Mal pulls up behind Jerry and shoots him in the head with a crossbow. He then tells Ohm he'd better not try to leave and takes the elevator back down again, but he forgot the keys upstairs and can't get out anymore, so he goes back up to check Jerry's body, but he's too late. Ohm already grabbed the keys. The fire alarms start going off. Mal is stuck because Ohm just took the dumbwaiter down into the basement. Mal begs him to come back up through the intercom, but he'd rather take his chances with the witch. He starts drawing a circle around himself, but before he can finish, the witch is already next to him. Mal doesn't have a choice and makes his way down. He looks at the charms, and intertwined in them is the key for the elevator. He tries to free it when the lights slowly go out. The witch grabs him and puts shackles on him. She slowly walks past Ohm and his unfinished circle. Ohm's mother hugs him. He apologizes to her. It was an accident. She tells him he can't stay here, but his guilt is eating at him. When Ohm comes to, he finds himself chained with Mal. He still had the saw in his pocket. The doors to the witch's room open, and Mal is being pulled in, so Ohm quickly tries to saw through his chain, and manages to do so just as Mal gets pulled in. He takes the key and jumps into the dumbwaiter. He ignores the bodies and gets into the elevator. The smoke is almost too much downstairs. Ohm tries to stay low, but the heat is burning him from the inside, so he loses consciousness. The hunter runs into the building to look for Mal and spots Ohm. He grabs him and takes him out of the hotel. Sometime later, Ohm is writing in the hospital when Albie walks in. He tells Ohm that they found the remains of Fiona and Jerry, but Albie has one more thing he needs to admit, because he might be the reason all of this happened. He spiked Ohm's whiskey bottle with magic mushrooms the night he hung himself. Ohm asks him why. It's because he was an asshole and he burned his hand. Ohm looks at his wrists and the marks from the shackles are still there. He remembers that Jerry told him that all the things from fairy tales exist. Your mind just needs to be open to see them. Albie has one more thing to give to Ohm. One of the firemen found the picture of Ohm's mother, and then he takes off. He opens his laptop to write the ending of his book. Instead of hitting the kid, the conquistador can't do it. He tells the kid to hit him instead. He tells him to keep hitting until the bottle breaks, and then he should follow the map and claim its riches. He deserves it. But the kid doesn't hit him. He throws the bottle away and hugs the conquistador conquistador instead. The bottle lands next to a skull in the sand, which they can use to break the bottle and find the treasure together. I am going to give it to you straight, Hokum is film writing at its finest. Yeah, the witch is the big scary thing in the movie, but it wasn't the bad guy. The witch was just an evil that was living its life until she was captured and locked into the honeymoon suite by the old dude in the wheelchair. No, the real danger was Mal, the manager. After cheating on his wife and getting the young Fiona pregnant, he needed his troubles to go away. But she wanted to keep the baby. She never wanted him to be the father. She wanted to raise it alone. But Mal wasn't strong enough to believe her and decided to kill her instead. Now, lucky for her, these magic mushrooms open up that third eye, because thanks to Albie, both Jerry and Ohm were able to see her ghost that led them to the honeymoon suite, where Mal took her and killed her. Now the overarching story and the moral is guilt, the thing that is haunting Ohm. The guilt of accidentally shooting his own mother in the face and making his father hate him in the process. It is only in the end that Ohm finally can apologize to his mother and realizes that she knew it was an accident all along. She wants him to live. She always wanted the best for her son because she loves him. And that's why he was able to give his book a happy ending too. The one thing his fans hoped for. Then finally the question remains why this movie is called Hokum. Well, that's quite easy. Hokum is the Irish word for calling bullshit. When Albie first tells his experience with the witch Ohm calls Hokum, he doesn't believe any of it. It's a bit of play on words because in the end it was all true. And that's a wrap. If you want the explanation to more horror movie endings, then please like, subscribe, and hype up the video. I'll see you next time.